Then we see Aaka looking for her friends and she thinks she can't find them anywhere. The system sound inside her tells her that they were able to figure out how to speak dragon after analyzing the dragon she ate earlier. The sniper then hits Aaka with rocks and Aaka uses her dragon wings to fly to the sniper. She learns that the sniper is Ryona Shirayama, and the two of them fight. Aaka blocks Ryan's attacks, and she learns that Rihanna is the best at fighting with their hands in their whole class. Cuts off one of her hands and says it will be easy to beat the others since she is the strongest in the class. Ryan says things would have been different if her powers weren't sealed away. The system sound also lets AA know that the royal family can weaken gifts in this area. Aaka tells them they should fight again once the seal is off, and then she leaves the scene. The next scene shows Dion and Lute. As they try to get to the bottom floor from the first floor of the Underworld, they run into a girl that Lute knows. We learn that Lady Mana is the sister of Dark God Alarma and other people. The Assassination Commission sends a letter to Reno Suwuk, who is in charge of the Assassin's Guild. After that, we see that Tomoshika is mad at Yogiri for doing nothing but slouching in his room, and he tells her that he isn't just being lazy. He says that he is training to better control his powers, that he can talk to Sean and get some information. If he doesn't, he says he will kill her. In addition to this, her Tomoshika says that he is just relaxing in his room. Yogiri says that he went out into town earlier, but someone was after him there, which is why he needs her help back Underworld. Dion asks Mana how she can be free when she is supposed to be sealed. Mana says her brother is too nice, so he made a loose seal so she could leave whenever she pleased. Lo believes that Lord Alarma put all of his power into the seal. Mana says she can smell her brother on Lute and wonders if he has something that belongs to her brother. Lute says he has the key to the seal, which makes Mana think, that's great. After this, Aaka sneaks into the king's chamber in the capital and asks him to turn off the seal. That makes the gifts less powerful. The king tries to fight her, but she is stronger than him and kills him. She leaves with the idea that the barrier must be down now, and the king is dead because she thinks the king was too weak. In the Underworld, we see Mana with some children around her. Dion learns that these are Mana's children. The children of Mana and her brother are being talked about by Lute, who says that's not true. Damon thinks Mana is a real maniac because he says they were born from her imagination. Then Sika finds Rai again and sees that her classmate used the nurse gift to put her arm back on. She says they should be able to have a real fight now that she killed the king. Now that they are fighting, Iona hits her and knocks her out. Aike cuts off her hand with her dragon fangs and crushes Rihanna to death with her dragon's tail after a few more hits from her. The next scene shows Yogiri in town with Tomoshika. Tomoshika learns that Yogiri brought her with him, so she can find the person who is after him. Tomo doesn't like hearing this, so Yogiri asks her if she had something else in mind. Tomo says she didn't, but Yogiri still asks her about it, and she says she might tell him if he buys her lunch. They both agree, and Tomoshika says she got some suggestions for places they should go. Suddenly, we see a sniper aim for them. We see that a girl is making him do this against his will. She makes him pull the trigger, but Yogiri kills him before he can shoot. After that, the girl tells Ryuno that they should go after Tomoshika this time, and he agrees. When Tomoshika sees that, she knows where they were going to have lunch. The building has been destroyed, and she tells them they can try other places. Then someone tries to shoot her, but Yogiri stops them. He then uses his drone to let Runos know that he is coming to get him, and then he destroys the drone. The electromagnetic waves from the drone have been tracked by Momoko, who can lead them to the mastermind. Yogiri isn't sure what to do next. Then Runos tries to escape in a helicopter, but Yogiri kills him. Yogiri is grabbed by the helicopter, and Tomo tells Runos Su not to move, or he will die. Runos Su listens, and Tomo learns that Runos knows about his powers. Runos Su tries to act stupid, but he sees that Moko has already dealt with the Princess of Spirits and the Queen of Spirits who hired him. He is shocked that she was able to beat such strong spirits, and Tomoshika thinks this is the first time Mamako has done something useful. Runos then attacks them with a Fenrir spirit, but Yogiri kills it, as well as the Queen of the Dead World that Runos Su summons afterward. Runos Su can't believe it, and the girl from earlier attacks Yogi to protect her master Tomo and saves him. Yogiri says that this surprised him. After that, he turns off the girl named Enju, and we learn that she is a robot Tomo. Yogiri is asked what her story is, and she says he will tell her later. He then asks Runyo to tell him everything he knows and more. Haruto is curious. As Yogiri looks at his file on a computer, the scene cuts to the Underworld, where Lute tells Dion he's sorry for dragging him along all the way. He gives him the key to the seal, and tells him that the person who has it will be the person speaking for his lord, and Lady Mana isn't going to kill that person. Dion tells him to keep it for himself, and Lute says that Mana isn't going to let that person live anyway since he let his lord die. He says it was fun to travel with Dayon, and Dayon thinks he is calling for all kinds of death. Flying flags. Then Runos tells Yogiri everything he knows and begs Yogiri to let him live. This time, he says he won't go after him, and Yogiri tells him he can't let him live. He says that he can make any object from their world. This is a dangerous skill, because it means he can make as many copies of Enju as he wants. Yuno says that many people in this world have this power, but Yogiri tells him that he made him mad, so he kills him. DNA then see the barrier Alba made. And Dayon thinks he doesn't understand what a seal means if Alba can just go in and out of it whenever she wants. He then sees a keyhole that can be used to open the seal, and the scene cuts to Yoreri and Tomoshika in an inn with Enju. Yori says that this girl is Enju, and that he used to play with her. He says that this is a gun made to kill him that looks like Enju. He tells her not to think that he is doing this because the real Enju is dead when he says that he wants to end this. She is still alive and well, he says, and she must be eating snacks while she lounges in bed right now. He only wants to kill the robot because he doesn't want a copy of her to live on in this world. The scene then cuts to Aite fighting Yugo and cutting through her dragon scale. Barrier Akai is shocked to see this, and Yugo says that his cook CL class lets him reduce any ingredient he comes through. So Aka hits him with her dragon claws, but she learns that she only hit one of Yugo's many clones. Yugo then says that a chef needs to be quick when making food, which is when these clones come in very handy. Yuka Mesa then reads in his book that Aaka was going to burn Yugo alive. When Aaka does burn Yugo with her dragon's breath, the future he read about comes true, and we learn that he can see the future. Next, we see Yoge's class having a meeting. They tell us that 8 of them have already been killed by Aaka, leaving only 18 of them alive. The class asks Sora if no one can beat her, and she answers yes. Aake is picking out these people because she wants to hurt them, and the kingdom is in bad shape because of her actions. They have been told to leave right away. Sarah tells them they need to solve their problem as soon as possible, so they are all going to go to the Underworld. The scene then cuts to Yoge's whole class on the 6th floor of the Underworld, where they meet some scary creatures. That's it. When Rono says there are 5,097 monsters, we learn that she knows this because she has the counter gift, which lets her count. Besides her, nothing else is useful in battle. After that, the whole class works together to fight the monsters, which they easily do. Also on the 7th floor, Lute tells Mana that the dark god Alaga has died. Mana says she knew her brother would die. Another day, Dion told Mana that Lute wanted her to get back at Dark God, Alaga, and Mana said she would. But first, she's gonna have her brother. She then takes Lo's hands and says that these things are what her brother is really like. She says this will help bring him back. And then she remembers she needs to take Lot's brain next. The form of her brother Dayon asks her to spare Lute. Mana says she will, and she asks Dion to break the seal. Dion does so. On the 6th floor, Yo's class has set up a nice camp and is having a feast. Ramiko says that things have been going well so far and asks Tomoshika what's going on. Tomoshika wonders if others see it this way, if someone like Yori is her type since they are always together. She then notices that Yogiri is not here and goes to look for him. It looks like Yogiri is outside playing games when he sees David going somewhere. He chases after him and stops him from falling off a cliff. After that, power comes out of the cliff, and the ground starts to shake. Shan then shows up at the feast and says that things have been going too well for them. She tells them that this test is too easy for them, and that a wise person will not be born. It's time for an awakening event, she says, because things are getting worse. They have to fight until only one of them is left alive. Then Rocco sees that Alamega's second door is about to open. Yoi and David fall off the cliff because of the evil energy's vibrations. Glad you watched parts 1 through 10. You can find the rest of the videos on my channel. Please share and like the video. To keep getting new, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Updates on the anime recap.